Hey there, book lovers! Welcome back to Blooming Reads Folk Girl. If you love amazing stories, mysteries, and thrilling adventures, then you're in the right place. Today, we're starting an exciting journey into one of the greatest sci-fi classics ever written, The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. But don't worry, you don't need to be a science expert to enjoy it. I'll take you through the story in a way that's easy and fun to follow. Imagine this. What if someone told you they could travel through time? Would you believe them? Or would you think they were crazy? That's exactly what happens in our story. So, grab your favorite snack, sit back, and let's dive into Episode 1, The Man Who Claimed to Travel Through Time. The Mysterious Dinner Party. Our story begins on a quiet evening in London. A group of well-dressed gentlemen have gathered at the home of their friend, a brilliant but unusual man known only as the Time Traveller. The warm glow of candlelight flickers against the walls. The scent of fine food and rich wine fills the air. It's the perfect setting for an intellectual conversation. The guests include a doctor, a psychologist, a journalist, a mayor, and a man named Philby who is always quick to argue. As they sip their drinks, the time traveller leans forward with a strange glint in his eye. What if I told you time travel is possible? His guests pause. Then laughter. Philby smirks. Ah, here we go again, another one of your wild theories. But the time traveller is serious. Think about it. We move through space all the time, right? Forward, backward, up, down. Why not time? The doctor raises an eyebrow. Because time doesn't work like that. It's not a place you can step into. The time traveller smiles. That's what everyone thinks, but they're wrong. And I can prove it. The small machine that vanished. The time traveller pulls out a strange-looking object. It's a small, delicate machine made of brass, ivory, and crystal. This, he says, is a time machine, a model version. The guests lean in, curious but skeptical. This lever, he explains, sends the machine into the future. And this one? The past. Philby chuckles. All right then, show us. With a confident nod, the time traveller flicks the lever. And then, whoosh, the tiny machine vanishes. The guests jump back. One of them gasps. Philby blinks. Where did it go? The time traveller leans back, satisfied. It's travelling through time. Right now, it's somewhere in the future. Silence fills the room. The doctor finally speaks. That could be a trick. The others nod. Maybe there were hidden wires. Maybe it was an illusion. The time traveller simply smiles. I thought you might say that. That's why I've built a real one. A full-size time machine. And I plan to test it soon. The room erupts into murmurs. Philby shakes his head. So, you're saying you'll sit in this thing, pull a lever, and just vanish? Exactly. The time traveller replies. The guests exchange nervous glances. Is this man serious? Well, says the mayor, I suppose we'll see if you show up next week. With that, the dinner party ends. The guests leave, shaking their heads. A week later, a shocking return. A week passes. The guests return, eager to hear about their friend's so-called experiment. But when they arrive, the time traveller is missing. His butler hands them a note. Start dinner without me. I will explain everything when I return. The guests are puzzled. Where could he be? Then, thump, thump, the front door bursts open. The time traveller stumbles inside, and he looks terrible. His clothes are dirty and torn. His hair is messy. His face is pale, exhausted, and covered in scratches. His eye-sockets, full of excitement, now look haunted. The room falls silent. The doctor rushes forward. "Good heavens, man! What happened to you?" The time traveller staggers to the table and grabs a glass of wine. His hands tremble as he drinks. Finally, he looks up. His voice is hoarse, weak. "I've been travelling." The guests exchange glances. "You mean..." The time traveller nods. "I have seen the future." More silence. Then Philby lets out a laugh. "Oh, come on! You expect us to believe that? Look at you! You've been in a fight or something." But the time traveller just shakes his head. "Sit down. Listen, I will tell you everything." The first test of the time machine, the guests settle in, leaning forward. The time traveller takes a deep breath and begins his tale. "Last Thursday, after you all left, I went to my laboratory. I had finished my full-sized time machine. Every part, every bolt, every lever was in place." He describes the machine gleaming with polished brass, crystal handles, a large spinning wheel in the back. His hands tighten into fists. "I sat down in the machine. My heart was pounding. What if it failed? What if I was destroyed?" His guests hang on to his every word, but I had to know. So I pulled the lever. Whoosh! Everything blurred. The walls of the room melted away. The candles flickered and vanished. Day turned to night in seconds. The sun raced across the sky. The hands of the clock spun wildly. He was moving through time. At first, he only moved a few minutes ahead. The laboratory looked almost the same, but then he pushed the lever harder. Everything became a blur. The world outside, his windows changed before his eyes. Cities rose and crumbled. Trees grew and vanished. Seasons passed in a blink. He saw the future unfolding before him. And then he stopped. The year? 800, 2701 AD. What happens next? What did he find in this distant future? Who or what was waiting for him? That's where we'll leave it for today. In episode 2, we'll follow the time traveller as he explores a strange new world zone that seems peaceful on the surface, but hides a dark, terrifying secret. So, what do you think? Is time travel possible? Was the small machine a trick, or was it real? Did you enjoy this story so far? If you love thrilling adventures like this, we highly recommend reading The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. You can find the book link in the description box below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part of this thrilling adventure. Until next time, keep imagining, keep exploring, and keep reading.